Welcome back everyone to the channel. I know it's been a while, but here is a new video. Anyway, today we are looking at the Atom Sidewalker and also the Kickbike Clix. Sorry this is a voiceover, but it was just too loud outside and the audio was unusable. Talk time. Yes, we're just going to talk a bit about the scooter and then we'll get to some real life footage. So let's start with what both these scooters have in common. They both have an aluminium frame, no suspension, both have V-brakes, mudguards and a bell. Obviously they both are scooters, so they both have handlebars, etc. Now for the differences. The Kickbike Clix weighs 7.8 kilograms, while the Atom Sidewalker is slightly heavier at 8.4 kilograms. You can definitely notice this while scooting, so take this into account. One of the big differences is the footboard, or where you stand on. The Clix is a normal finish footboard at 12 centimeters wide, but the Atom has a skateboard looking wide footboard at 17.8 centimeters wide. This makes it a lot easier to put 2 feet on it at the same time, but this might actually not be a good thing. Firstly, most people leave their leg hanging out anyway, and secondly, this means you have to scoot with your leg further away from the footboard, meaning your leg gets tired quicker. Personally, I much prefer the footboard on the Clix, as it is thin and easier to scoot with. The ground clearance on both are very low. The Clix has 4.5 centimeters at the lowest point, and the Atom has 7 centimeters for the whole bottom of the scooter. This would mean that if there are any big rocks or sticks, it might bottom out, but so far I haven't had a problem with either scooters and not once hit the ground. And as the Atom has a higher footboard off the ground, this means that you have to put your foot further down to touch the floor, so your legs get tired very quickly, and I found that my legs were aching after just a short scoot. But this isn't the case with the Clix, as the footboard is very low down and the Clix even has a lower option if you are going on a flat path, so you can scoot even quicker. The grip on both footboards are fine, maybe a little too much on the Atom as the whole footboard is grippy. I will say both of these scooters are very long, but especially the Clix at 150 centimeters long. The Atom is slightly better at 130 centimeters long, but both are still quite long. The Clix does try and battle this though by its folding mechanism. You just fold it up and then it goes down to a little less lengthy 96 centimeters, but obviously that is only for carrying and you can't ride while it's folded. In practice, I found that the more length was beneficial, at least I thought, as the scooter felt less upright and it was more comfortable to ride as you had a bit more space to scoot, as with the Atom it felt just a little too upright, and maybe this is also contributing to it being harder to scoot with. Now for the folding of these scooters. This is probably the most important thing, as if you are buying these scooters in the first place, you want it to fold. If you don't necessarily need your scooter to fold, I would try looking at some different models altogether. Anyway, the Atom only has one folding place, but the Clix has 2. With the Atom, you just fold down the handlebars and you're pretty much good to go. But with the Clix, you again fold down the handlebars, but this time you also bend the frame in half by unscrewing a bolt and then folding it. To unfold these scooters, you just do the same thing, but in reverse. If I had to choose one of these scooters because of their folding, I would go for the Clix, as it folds into a smaller length but a wider width. If you want your scooter to fold in a very thin but quite long space, then the Atom might be a little better for you. Now as for the wheels themselves, the Clix has 16-inch wheels on the front and back, and the Atom has 12-inch wheels on the front and back. If you want to go fast and have a lower rolling resistance, which means it rolls on the floor for longer, meaning less kicks, then the Clix is an easy win. If you want your scooter to be a little less bike-like, then maybe you could go for the Atom, but I would still go for the Clix anyway, as it is a lot easier to push. Also, one note, the Atom that we got didn't have any spokes and had these thick metal bars instead, so that's also something to watch out for. The Atom has wider tyres, so you might get slightly better stabilisation on it, but I still think the Clix wins, as it's way easier to push. As for these scooters going off-road, I wouldn't. Even on the 16-inch Clix, it struggles with grass, never mind bumps. These scooters go on gravel okay, so if you've got a gravel cyclepath near you and the gravel isn't massive rocks, then these scooters should handle it just fine. In races with both scooters, I was 15% quicker with the Clix than my Atom run, so put this in mind. So is this a easy win for the Kickbike Clix? Pretty much yes, but my brother has the Atom Sidewalker and he rathers that scooter a lot over the Clix. So I guess it's down to how tall and what your needs are. In most cases, I would still recommend the Clix, as its folding is better overall too. If you want a scooter that can go really fast and has really low rolling resistance, I would recommend the Kickbike Race Max 28, as that is currently the fastest scooter ever for only £600, but obviously that doesn't fold. Also, don't even think of getting either of these scooters for a pump track or any track with jumps on it, as these scooters bottom out straight away. Just another note, both of these scooters had minor and some major problems with them when we first got them, as the Clix had a unstraight wheel to the handlebars and some other little things. The Atom though had brakes that were scratching the rims of the wheels and were grinding off the metal into little bits, so keep this in mind when getting any big wheeled scooter, as it seems like all these scooters have these problems. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully, it won't be as long this time. But yeah, I'll see you next time. And yeah, thanks for watching.